I just thought great idea for us to get together and now that everyone's in this weird quarantine time and this is the first time that Evan gets to participate because he's not in season with our creative conversations with Jarrell. So I think it's going to be fun to go through our creative that we're going to talk about for May, our May digital campaigns, and get everyone's feedback and brainstorm and talk it through. So I guess Jarrell, like, we'll just start showing you some stuff and you guys can just flow with it and we can go from there. So
yeah, so I made 3 different gift style ones. So I did one with shoes, keeping with their branding, just to kind of show different variation of types of shoes you have. Obviously, we can change these if you have more popular selling shoes. And then we also did one more gift style with like kind of a whole outfit. So
oh, nice. That's dope.
We can also change up the outfit as well. We just pulled a few photos.
The only thing with these would be, I think because we have a big like 25% off like thing, you have to be careful with what brands and products like we put up there. Like
right.
It is kind of like a free for all like right now because you can mark down and like do things however you want to, but you don't want to kind of like throw it in their face. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a situation where it's like the Carhartt I know will be good no matter what we do. Stone Island older season stuff like we can do. Since we just got the common projects like sneakers in, I don't think that's something we want to, throw out there and have a big 25% off like sign.
Right. We can also change the messaging. So just to like draw people's attention to the site, mm-hmm. It doesn't even have to be that. It could just be like whatever we decide, we can brainstorm it.
Seeing a discount, like people will click on that, especially if they see brands that they're familiar with. So
yeah, it's clearly like we've seen in April, our return on ad spend's above 3. I think it's like 3.1 or something. So clearly we know that this discount is driving people to make purchases. And I think the lifetime value of getting a new customer, especially in this time and having their contact information and doing the email marketing over time, I think is just better. So I think you just have to think about which products are going to draw people in. And I really like how Elena did this. I like that it showcases all the different types of products you have, where it's not just sneakers, it's not just t-shirts, it's not just shorts, where some e-commerce sites or some products kind of only pigeonhole themselves and you don't even realize that they make shorts or they make shoes or whatever it may be. And I think it's kind of interesting how you do it there.
But what do y'all think about even showcasing, some of the non-clothing that we even sell too? Like we have fragrances, we have books, like, you know what I mean? Just to kind of even push it, I feel like even pushing the lifestyle like aspect of it, just so like people don't see, you see clothing stores and things like all the time. But if we push the fact that we are more than just like a clothing store, it might make it a little bit more, I don't know, might make people want to click on it a little bit more.
I think also statistically, fragrances at least perform better around gift giving season. So you have your Father's Day coming up. So that would be potentially a good time for fragrances.
I think also like using some of these like photos that you have where people are wearing the clothes, it actually like is a little better because people see how the clothes fit too. So like maybe even throwing those on some of the gifts as well.
Especially on social media, it's crazy. Like if we post just the product shop or just like the stuff, people not messing with that.
People have hit me up a couple times and like, I don't know who y'all have shoe in it, and they'll be like, yo, who is it? Yo, what's going on? Yo, I just hit your site.
If we use a model, people love it. If we use product shots, people like, man, we cool. I don't click ads, like, period. So it's like, I think the ones where it will require me to even do more work I will be less inclined to like interact with.
I think the nice part about digital advertising is that because we have the tracking set up properly, whichever is going to lead to purchases is what the consumer will see.
I mean, the CDG stuff is really popular. You also have a lot of women's stuff that, I don't know, like we haven't pushed much women's gear, I don't feel like, because I feel like you guys have just started really getting more women's stuff in your store. I feel like that's something you should really push.
I would agree with Christian about pushing women's stuff. I know a lot of times they eventually end up, rocking bigger men's clothing, or, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll tell people about the store, or they go check, they'll ask if, where's women's stuff at. And we do get a lot of support from the females in the area too, bro. You know what I mean?
A lot of our most recent online transactions have been women. This demographic of women, like out here, they definitely shop more than the men.
Statistically, the female consumer also buys a lot of clothing products for the male who's the end consumer. So just letting as many, females know and be aware of the Madison USA online store, I think is beneficial for everyone.
See, now that's hard. That's dope.
Yeah, see, I would click on that.
I would definitely click on that. Yeah, all that, that's fine. That whole thing is fine.
And then here is the slideshow version.
Give me a shirt.
That's actually one of the shirts D. Jones trying to get me to send.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, Evan, I got a question for you.
Yes, Christian.
If you could carry any brand in your store that you don't carry currently, what one would it be? Like, I know I see a lot of brands.
Probably Fear God.
Fear God.
Probably
we actually get a lot of people ask about that too.
Yeah, probably like, if you were doing like more like the bigger brands, like probably that, and then probably just like the low key shit, man. I think we got a lot of brands I like that are like low key. Like we got you feel me? We got APC, we got some of that stuff. But if I had to choose, like, or like Greg Long, But that's just, you know what I mean? Like the price point. It's not crazy that we have to be so, you know what I mean, particular with that. But that's what I would probably put in those two for sure.
Yeah.
If I had another choice, I'd probably also put a vintage collection, like vintage T-shirt, or you know what I mean.
Like me and Keith talked about that a bunch of times, like trying to do like a vintage thing. It's just about trying to figure out how we can do it right, and like if we can partner with like certain people, just because vintage is a whole job like in itself. You have to go and like source the stuff. But I know since day one, Evan and I have been talking about like trying to find a way to bring like real vintage, not just like reselling the latest like drop from a hype like brand. We talking like real vintage, like Grail type stuff. So Grail need to actually like get up with us. What it sounds like.
What made you ask that, Christian? I said, why'd you ask?
No, I just had a bunch of questions that I have that, I'm into style. So like being an athlete, like seeing like the rise in style and like the NBA and stuff, I feel like it's become like a completely separate entity from like the actual game itself. So it's just kind of interesting to hear it firsthand.
Yeah, I think what's cool, like right now too, it's like collaboration and shit. So right now you're about to have a Fear of God, Xenia drop, Yeah. So like now, like as an athlete or who we are in general, we're starting to get like finer clothing that kind of fits our steez in a sense, you know what I mean?
The good thing about our stuff, our in-house stuff, is that we can literally sell anything like at any time. Like we had people we had somebody order a black hoodie and a gray hoodie just like 2 days ago. So it's like, and like the hoodie I'm even wearing, like we plan on having it available all year round. So it's like, it's kind of like a staple product. So we can always like be like subtly like pushing that. The shorts is definitely, it's a good time for that. Like logo t-shirts, like things like that. anything new that we end up coming up with, like, I think that the options are like endless.
Ivan, do you like? I know, like when I always remember that trip when we were in Italy together, and I showed you.
Oh, back in the day.
I finally explained to you what I did for work, and then it's like funny coming full circle with your company and doing the digital ads for it. Like, do you remember? Like, do you just have a sense of pride every time you see your own ads, like on Instagram or wherever it may be?
No, it's definitely dope. I get more hype for you though. Like, remember in Italy, what happened? You were up all night. I wasn't staying in the same room, so we were separate. But you was up all night closing deals. So like, when I see you doing your thing, I see your stance ad, I get hype for you. But it is cool to see a Madison ad for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome seeing the ads. I think they look clean.
It feels official. I'll say that much. It definitely feels official.
Well, that and I mean, it's working. Like, you're getting in front of people. People are buying, and like I said, you're making significantly more in sales than you are in what we're spending on the ads. So I think it's exciting. It's exciting to grow Madison USA nationally.
So, Evan, I got a question. I got one more question for you. Well, this is loading.
What's up, Killer?
What player in the NBA has the best style? And who has? I don't know if you can say it, but who has the like?
Pause.
Like, who am I looking at? Like, wow. Nah, real shit. I think like the originality. I like Serge Ibaka. He's dope.
With the scars.
Huh?
Too many scars, bro.
What'd you say? Too many scars? Man, but it's still different, bro. It's way better. Some of these niggas just waking up and wearing sweatpants. I'm tired of seeing that shit. Some dudes is in dead ass pajamas, and then we call it hot, and it's like this shit is not hot. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think Rudy Gay, he dressed nice. Dame really dressed nice. Iguodala, always like been a fan of Iguodala's like dressing, and then other than that, it's just been. I'm not like a big fan of basketball players like dressing.
I think you have good style.
Oh no, I thought that went without saying. Like, I didn't think that was like. I didn't think we were talking about me. I thought we were talking about them. But yeah, that went without saying. You weren't talking about me. I would went a completely different route. But nah, like I think like Rel will tell you, but like we grew up differently. You'll probably keep game, but like Rel would get me hip and like privy to like David Beckham. So like you probably thought he took a soccer guy, but you thought he was just a fashion icon. And, like even then it was like Cristiano Ronaldo, like most drip, like the tattoos and stuff. Somewhat right, Rel somewhat came from like the British like soccer playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's always what I was into anyway. It was kind of like all the UK culture stuff. So it's like that was a lot of our influence in there, finding ways to blend that with things that we saw like every day. Like obviously you have like your rappers and whoever else.
We thought we was Dipset type dudes. You know what I'm saying?
We were somewhere between David Beckham and Cameron.
Yeah, we thought we was like British. You know what I mean? So we just thought like we was just like some pretty fly hood dude. You know what I mean?
But like honestly, we still do.
I know we are for sure, but like that's just how we move. But yeah, that's why I don't think like NBA dudes like they dress straight. But like Kelly Oubre, he's dope. I think
Shea is cool for the young boys.
Shea is straight, like, but eventually, bro, it's like you're tired of seeing goddamn pants, bro. But Shea got it.
Love is raw too. Kevin Love is fire because Kevin Love
is fire.
Yeah.
Kevin Love is fire. Kevin Love is fire.
But we do have like TikTok kids like reach out to us like on like social and stuff like that. So like having them, if they do something like in the hoodie, like obviously the Dave like TV show was something that we didn't expect. So like anytime we can get moments like that, like I had somebody like message us on Instagram, like sending us a picture of them doing something like in the Madison shorts or whatever it is. So it's like if I can find a way to get approval to get that stuff like from whoever's making the content and send it over to you, like I'll try to do that too.
All right. Thank you all for your time, and we'll all talk soon.
Look forward to the next time.
Peace.
Later.